Hello and welcome to Yoga with Glenn. I'm Glenn. I have a nice, easy yoga flow for you today. It'll be vinyasa style, breath to movement, and it's perfect if you're a beginner, if you're a seasoned yogi, or if you're just looking to just get up and move. Hop into some comfy clothes, hop on your mat, and let's get started. To begin, meet me here in Sukhasana or easy, cross-legged seated position, cross at the ankles. Tall spine, open heart, level chin. We'll begin with just some gentle warm-up, starting with the neck. Just slow neck rolls. Bring one ear to one shoulder, rolling over to the other shoulder. Exhale as you come down. Inhale as you come up. Stop at the top and reverse the circle. Exhaling, chin to chest. Inhaling, chin to the sky. Another rotation. When chin reaches the chest, inhale, look all the way up. And exhale, back to neutral. Bring the fingertips to the shoulders and just make some very small circles with the elbows. Imagine drawing a circle about as big as a golf ball. Try to keep the elbows up. Make that circle a little bit bigger. Baseball size, softball, volleyball, basketball. And as big as you can. Big, big circles. And then come to stillness and reverse the circle. Same thing, starting big, going to small, and eventually coming to stillness. Now bring the palms to clasp, cross the fingers, bring the forearms to touch, and just make some circles with the wrists, keeping the forearms together. This is warming the wrists up, warming the shoulders up, and then reverse the circle here. Come to stillness, release. Bring the hands and arms up, and then exhale. Take a twist over to the right side, chin falling towards the back shoulder. Inhale, chin to front shoulder. And exhale, chin to back. Inhale, arms come up, and then exhale, twisting to the other side. You don't really have to force yourself into this twist. Inhale, chin to front shoulder. And exhale, chin to back. Inhale, arms come up, and then exhale, either rolling onto the knees into a table posture or just making your way into that table posture. We'll go through a couple rounds of cat-cow. So from table posture, shoulders stacked over wrists, hips stacked over knees, and inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, lift the chin, lift the chest. And exhale, tuck the tailbone, moving through the spine, pressing through the earth with the hands as the chin falls towards the chest. Inhale, tailbone up, dropping the belly, lifting the chin, lift the chest. Cow pose, and then exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. One more time, each pose. Inhale. And exhale. Tuck the toes if they're not already. Come to a neutral table posture. And then press back, lifting the hips for downward facing dog. And from here, since this is our first downward dog, we can pedal out the feet, feeling some length in the back of the legs, stretching the calves, making yourself comfortable. And when you're satisfied with that, come to stillness
look towards the front of your mat and take just little baby steps, walking the feet between the hands in this standing forward fold. And inhale, slowly rise, slowly straightening the legs, stacking one vertebrae of the back at a time, coming to this Tadasana, this mountain pose. Inhale, circle the arms up, touch the palms overhead, and then exhale, dive forward into this standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold, and inhale, rise. Circle the arms up, touch the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. Load up into the legs, drive the arms up, palms overhead, slight back bend, and then exhale, dive forward, forward fold. You can bend at the knees here so the torso rests against the thighs if you're a bit tight. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Plant the hands on the mat, stepping back with the left leg. Drop the left knee to the ground, and then raise the shoulders over the hips. Arms come up by the side, palms facing in. And exhale, hands back down to the mat. Into table posture. High plank, or just lower yourself all the way down to the ground. Shoelace side of the foot on the ground, legs together. Pressing down with the feet. Inhale, lift the chin and chest for low cobra. And then exhale down. Now either press yourself into that high plank or just table and downward facing dog. Either way, meet me in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg for three-legged dog. And then exhale, step that through between the hands. Option here to drop the back knee for low lunge, or you can keep the back knee elevated and rise up for high lunge. Inhale here and then exhale, hands back down, and then step forward between the hands with an inhale for a halfway lift, lengthening the spine, extending through the crown, and exhale, fold, and inhale, rise, circle the arms up, touch the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. Load up into the knees once more. Drive the hands and arms forward and up. Another back bend, and then exhale. Fold forward, standing forward fold. Let the arms hang heavy. And when you're ready, inhale for a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back with the opposite leg, right leg. If you want to take that high lunge, take the high lunge. Or if you want to take the low lunge here, drop back knee, raise the arms up, shoulders over hips with an inhale, and then exhale, hands back down to the mat. And either step back into high plank and either lower yourself down or shift forward, lower down slowly, flip the toes, chaturanga vinyasa for an upward facing dog or high cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. With an inhale, lift the left leg, three-legged dog. And then exhale, step that through between the hands. Inhale, rise up into high lunge. Try to keep that back knee straight. And exhale, hands back down to the mat. And with an inhale, step forward into that halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Circle the arms up. Touch the palms overhead and bring the hands down to heart center. This next series in this flow, we'll work on a little bit of balancing. So begin to shift weight over onto the right leg, the right ankle, and begin to just bring the knee up, the opposite knee up, while maintaining this balance. And then place the leg down.
Feet hip width apart. Shift the weight over to the other side. Feel what you need to do or change to shift the weight and try to balance. And when you're ready, lift the opposite knee up. Hold for a breath. And then exhale down. Inhale, hands and arms come up for a back bend. And then exhale,
dive forward, forward folds. Notice the difference side to side when you balanced on one side versus the other. Straighten the left leg, feel the body sway. Rebend, straighten the right. Feel the body sway to the opposite side. Rebend, and then slowly roll yourself up back to standing.
Bring the hands to heart center when you get there. Begin to shift weight into the right side. The left ankle comes either, or the left heel comes either to the right ankle as sort of a kickstand. And if this is all you're comfortable doing, then stay here. If you're able to, rest the middle of the foot on the calf, or if you're even able to bring the heel above the knee, just don't press right on the knee so our knee doesn't move that way. But if you're here in your tree pose, grow your branches in your tree pose in any way that you see fit. Arms straight up, out at a Y, out at a T if you like, or if you just like hands at heart center, that's okay too. While you're maintaining your balance here, another breath. And move the knee forward. Extend at the knee and exhale.
Let everything go. Forward fold. If you got balance on that side, great. If you didn't, that's okay. We got one more side to try. You can shift side to side, sway around, let yourself loose. And when you're ready, inhale, circle the arms up.
Touch the palms overhead and bring the hands down to heart center. A nice little reset, and we'll try again on the opposite side. So begin to shift weight over to the left side, right heel to left ankle, and this little kickstand. Again, if this is all where you're at, that's okay. And if you're able to move this leg or move this foot up the leg, resting on the calf, that's all you're able to do, great, hang out there. If you're able to come above the knee, resting the heel on the thigh, that's great too. Try to keep the hips pointed forward. Try not to be open like this, swaying side to side. As long as the hips are straight forward, you can try to press this knee out, but hips facing forward is the priority here. Maintain balance. Smooth breath, and either grow your branches at a Y, or at this I shape, or at a T, or just at heart center, wherever you prefer. Another breath, inhale, and exhale. Turn the knee forward, extend at the knee, lift it, and then exhale.
Dive everything forward into this standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Now I'm going to turn, face the correct way on my mat. If you have yoga blocks, you can pause the video and grab them now. If you have them with you, grab them and just set them towards the front of the mat. We'll need them later. You can rest them on the highest position. But slowly raise yourself up back to standing. Reset yourself if you need to. And come to the front of your mat into Tadasana, hands at heart center. Stepping back with the left leg, we'll set ourselves up for Warrior One. So hips facing forward, slight bend in the front knee, front toes facing forward. And this back foot, you can turn out maybe 30, 40 degrees,
whatever you need to just keep the legs straight and keep this back heel on the ground. But again, hips forward, raising the arms up, palms facing in, our ribs are straight, and this is warrior one. Inhale and then exhale. Dive forward, keeping this warrior one. This is where the blocks come in handy if you need them. Keep that bend, and with your blocks at any position you like, try to straighten this leg for pyramid pose. Straighten the front leg for pyramid pose. A breath here, feel the length in the back of this front leg. Rebend, and using your blocks if you need to, or just bring yourself back up to warrior one. Inhale, and then exhale, stepping forward, back into Tadasana, feet hip width apart, hands at heart center. A reset, and then we'll begin on the other side. So step the right leg back, bend in the front knee, front toes facing forward, hips pointed forward. And this back foot you can turn out as much as you need to, as long as you keep this back heel on the ground. And when you're ready, inhale, arms come forward and up for warrior one, and then dive forward, aiming for the blocks if you need them. Try to put as much weight as you need to in the blocks. If you need to lower them down to level 2 or level 1, you may do so, of course. And when you're ready, straighten this front leg for pyramid pose. Trying to fold forward as much as possible, really feeling that length here in this left hamstring. If you need to adjust your blocks, do so. And then rebend and bring yourself up. Back to warrior one. And exhale, stepping forward into Tadasana. Now in this next round, we'll move into warrior three, which can be done from warrior one. So I'm going to give myself some space here, but still in Tadasana, hands at heart center, feet hip width apart. Again, step back with the left leg. Starting our first warrior one, set yourself up for warrior one properly. Inhale, arms up, and then exhale. Dive forward, aiming for those blocks. I recommend on the highest position at first. And try to get the blocks just under your shoulders for now, maybe a little bit forward, but we'll practice straightening this front leg and loading up and finding where our balance point is, lifting the back leg off the ground. Inhale, and then exhale. Step back. Maybe adjust your blocks a little bit if you need to. Rebending in the front knee, and when you're ready, load up, ready to balance on this right leg for warrior three. And if you're able to, extend your arms forward. I don't have any space. My arms are going to go back. Try to point the foot that's in the air. Try to point those toes down for warrior three. Your chest facing towards the floor if possible. And then grab your blocks. Set your leg down. Rebend. And then inhale, rise up to warrior one. And then exhale, step back into Tadasana. So our blocks should be pretty well set from that round. So we'll move into the other side for warrior three. Take a second to gather yourself if you need to. And when you're ready, step back into warrior one. Inhale, arms up. Make sure your hips are pointed forward. Your front toes are pointed forward. Slight bend in the knee. Back heel still on the ground. Straight leg. And then exhale. Dive forward, aiming for those blocks. And when you're ready, load up into this front leg. Seeing where you need to place the blocks. If you need to move them anywhere to adjust yourself, you may do so.
And then bring this back leg down. Rebend to the front leg. And one more time. When you're ready, load up into this front leg and fly into your warrior three. Remember this back foot. Try to keep the toes pointed towards the ground. Trying to keep the hips level here, ideally. And if you have the space, arms will come above the head. But if you don't have the space and need to keep your balance, you can either hold on to the blocks or you can bring your arms behind you. A breath here in this warrior three. And then exhale, grab your blocks, set your leg back down, rebend into this front knee, and then inhale, warrior one. Exhale, back to Tadasana with hands at heart center. Inhale, load up into the knees, drive the arms, hands and arms forward and up, back bend, and then exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Set these blocks just up and off to the side of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Plant the hands. Come to a table posture. And then we'll move into our cool down postures. So bring the left ankle to the right wrist, left knee to the left wrist, and set yourself up for pigeon pose. So with the assistance of blocks, I especially need blocks for this. Try to keep our hips level. Our front leg doesn't have to be parallel with the mat. That's okay if the ankle comes back towards the opposite hip. As long as you're feeling some length through this glute here. And if you're able, lower yourself to the ground. You can use this block for support under the forehead, using the other one for support under the hip, and bringing the back leg back. And just really breathing into this posture. We'll be here for several breaths, so if you need to make any adjustments, you can do so. If you feel like your body has settled, and you can lower your blocks. That way you're closer to the ground. The more you practice this posture, the easier it'll get. After your next exhale, inhale and begin to make your way back up. Bring the wrists under the shoulders. Pressing yourself back up. You can leave the front block where it is. Set the other one off to the opposite side. Walk the back knee in a couple steps. Bring the leg back to a table posture. Press yourself into a downward dog. If you need to raise this leg up, stretch it out a little bit, make circles, whatever's comfortable. And when you're ready, same thing, opposite side. Bring the right ankle to the left wrist, right knee to the right wrist, and then begin to walk the back leg back. It's okay if the right ankle falls towards the left hip. Walk that back knee back till you feel that stretch over on the right leg. Recruit your block if you need to under the hip, and then make your way down. And you can have the blocks on the higher settings at first if it's easier for you. And the deeper you breathe into this posture, the easier it will get. Deep, fulfilling inhales starting from the belly. And then exhale. Let everything go and sink deeper into this posture. If you need to make any adjustments, still have time to do so. Just a few more breaths to go. And after your next exhale, as you inhale, begin to peel yourself off the ground. Wrists come under the shoulders. Move your blocks off to the side. Walk the back knee forward. And make your way into that downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Reset. Adjust yourself. And then bring the knees to the mat wide. Bring the big toes to touch. And sink the hips back into child's pose. Extending the arms forward. Deep inhales. Feel how the belly presses against the thighs. And feel where the breath moves because of this. I like child's pose because it's a good way to sort of massage the low back with the breath. After your next exhale, inhale and press yourself up into table posture, swinging the legs around and coming onto your bottom. Come up into the upper third of your mat, soles of the feet on the mat, extend the arms out, and then slowly roll yourself back down onto your back. Bring the knees to touch, the shins, the ankles, and float the feet off the ground in sort of this 90-90. Bring the arms out to a T. You can shift your hips over to the right if you want, but drop the knees to the left side, trying to keep the legs together. Or if you still have one of those blocks handy, you can put a block between the legs. If that doesn't suit you, you could just put one hand, the left hand, over top of the leg just to bring a little bit extra weight. We don't want to crank down on our leg, just a little bit extra weight will do. If you enjoy a side body stretch, you can raise the right arm overhead, keeping the neck neutral. Or if you don't like that, you
You can keep the right arm out at a T and drop the chin towards the right shoulder. We'll be here for just a couple breaths. If there's any adjustments you like to make, there's still time to do so. After your next exhale, remove your modifications, bring the arms out to a T, neck neutral, and float the knees back up to center. If you've shifted your hips over, shift them to the opposite side, and then drop the knees to the right side. Remember your modifications. Take whatever modification suits you best. Take fulfilling inhales, long exhales. After your next exhale, remove any modifications and then float the knees back up to center. Drop the feet back to the ground, extend the legs out, and set yourself up for your comfortable Shavasana. If that means blanket under the head or under the knees or under the shins, wherever you prefer, even like a block somewhere. Set yourself up so you're comfortable. Palms facing up, the arms away from the side body just a little bit. Let the feet just play out where they will. And begin to relax your whole body, starting from the feet, relaxing the toes, the ankles. Feel the weight of the calves against the earth. Feel the air pass under the knees. Feel the weight of the hips against the earth. Feel the rise and fall of the belly as you inhale and exhale. Feel the weight of the shoulders, the weight of the upper arm, the lower arm. Feel the air pass through the fingertips. And let the back of the head rest heavy against the earth. Let the eyes sink back into their orbits. Let the tongue fall into the lower palate. And imagine your brain sliding to the back of your skull. Nowhere left to go. Nothing left to do. If you'd like to remain in your Shavasana, you may do so. If you'd like to follow along, before you get up, make sure you bring some slow movements to the body. Make sure you stretch out, and before you press yourself up to a seat, make sure you roll to your side, let your nervous system catch up, then you can press yourself up from there. I'd like to close out this video and say thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this yoga for beginners, this vinyasa session. Let's take one breath together, extend the arms overhead with an inhale, and bring the thumbs to the third eye. Maybe think the right thoughts, thumbs down to the mouth, maybe speak the right words, and bring the hands down to heart center. May our thoughts, our words, our intentions be true and kind. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.